Hello and welcome back to another episode of Inspiration Soup. I'm Jakki Gioia, your host and founder of Journey into Joy. Today we're going to be making vegetable soup, and it's a great time for vegetable soup, being the winter. We're moving into winter and we're coming out of the season of autumn, the height of the metal element. And as we move into winter, it's a time for more rest and rejuvenation. But what we're getting from our nutrients here are a full array of earthy flavors and earthy nutrients. So it helps to rebuild our bodies and give us that what we need to rejuvenate our cells. And the fiber helps us to continue to eliminate what we don't want in our bodies. Just like with the metal element, we're eliminating things that aren't good for us, that we're trying to release, and bringing in more goodness of what we want to help rebuild us. So that's what metal is about, always about openness and letting go and then taking in what's good for us. So in light of that, the earthy food that we have here does help to bring balance to the metal, because it will allow for the metal element focus. And when you're relaxed and grounded, as with the earth element, we are able to focus more. And also what helps to control too much thinking and being in our head, as you can be with the metal. We are going to be talking about joy, and how joy as part of the fire element can help to melt some of that metal. So when we can have more joy in our lives, we keep that mental activity in check. So we're not just working from our minds, but we're working from our hearts. And so what better time to talk about joy than the season of joy and the season of giving in this holiday season of Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. And we're all in the spirit, and that's why I'm sporting my Snoopy shirt today and not my traditional apron. So I'm also going to be taking this soup to one of my first ever Journey into Joy experiences, which is a synthesis of wonderful things. The inspiration soup is going with me. There's going to be meditation and qigong and dance and song and all things that are uplifting, that raise your vibration and help you to feel more joyful. So let's get started making our soup, starting with a little bit of olive oil. And I'm going to start with the heat, turning on the heat. And fire is not going to melt this metal pan. So I'm going to add the olive oil to the pot, and it's about 1 to 2 tablespoons. You can use whatever oil you'd like. And then I'm going to start with, we have here chopped leeks and onions. There's about half an onion and 1 leek, and about 3 cloves of garlic. There's carrots and celery and parsnips and mushrooms, spinach, tomatoes, olives, green beans, and zucchini, and of course the broth. But you can choose to put whatever you like in your soup. Remember, this inspiration soup is about your life and what inspires you and what makes you feel good. So I'm using a wide variety of vegetables here, and also short grain brown rice, which I have already par-cooked. And that short grain brown rice is really full of protein, and it's really a good source of B vitamins. So it helps to keep your nervous system in order, and your mind going well, your memory, your nervous impulses in your body. So it's good for pain relief and stress. And it's also really helpful for water retention. So we are going to add that later on. But first we're starting with our onions and leeks. Getting those base flavors going in the pot. You know, there's something really special about making your own food and putting your own energy into your food. It's like you're giving yourself nourishment. You're giving yourself not just the nutrition, but emotional nourishment. It's something you're giving to yourself. It's not, you could go and buy food anywhere, and maybe someone else can cook better than you think you can. But there's something really energetically special about making something from scratch that is nourishing for you and making it your way. I always enjoy eating out and having other people cook for me. It's a nice convenience, and I'm very joyful that we have other people who are willing to do this for us. And especially on a day when we're not feeling so good, or we're running around and we're tight for time. And this is one of those things that really can help to add to the joy element in your life. Thinking about all these little miracles that happen for you on a daily basis. Just take a moment as we're waiting for these vegetables to cook to think about these things. What is it that really lifts you up when you're not feeling good? Good pot of soup is good for me, I'll tell you that. We're going to put in our carrots so that they get tenderized. And the celery. All the vegetables that take a little bit longer to cook will go in first. The green beans. And then I'm going to also take the parsnips. Got to get them moving. Get that heat cooking them through. Get them moving around. A little bit of the parsnip. Okay, and I'm going to take this and move this out of the way. Once we get them nice and tender, then we'll add our broth. Now, usually I make this soup with quinoa, so it has a higher protein content. But there's just so much protein going in this right now with the mushrooms and the green beans and the short grain brown rice. I'm sorry. So we have plenty of protein going in this soup. And I'm also adding some spinach. That's another source of protein. So as that is getting tender, let's just sit here and think about for a moment, keeping that on like a medium flame. Just take a moment and just reflect for a moment on what are the things that you truly love. Just go into your heart for a minute and really feel, even if you've suffered losses this year, can you just take a moment and be in that space and just feel, what makes me truly happy? What do I love to do? What brings me up? What lights up my day? Where do I feel like I could just keep going and not really think about time and kind of forget everything around me and forget myself? This is living in the heart. What feels really good to you? As you think about these things, you might notice emotions coming up. Maybe there's an emotion of sadness that you haven't been doing the thing that you've been really wanting to do and putting it on the back burner. And maybe you're elated because you feel you're right in line with what you've been wanting to do. And every day you're living from your heart and you're giving to others and you're receiving. Whatever it is that you're feeling in your body, acknowledge it. That this is your truth. And it's okay to be exactly where you are. And right now, notice in your body what you're feeling. Notice if you're feeling anger, anxiety, angst, frustration, or if you're feeling relaxed and peaceful and jovial. And just take a moment to notice in your body how your body responds to these emotions. Notice that whatever you're feeling at any moment in time, your body is reflecting that. It's absorbing that energy. So we always want to try to move toward things that are going to make us feel good and uplifted and light. Can you feel that? Now take your hand on your heart and one hand on your belly and breathe into that space. It's a calming way to relax yourself and give yourself nourishment and nurturing. Putting your own energy into your body. Breathe into that space. It's okay to be exactly where you are. Every day is a new day, ripe with possibilities. And you can decide to embark on that endeavor that you've been putting off. Or you could keep going head first into the thing that you love to do. Put aside any negative thoughts or doubts that this can be possible for you, because anything is possible in this world. Breathe that in. Breathe in that surety, that faith. And from here on out, start to look at all of the little ways that life has given you opportunities to express yourself, or to do what you like to do, to be who you are, to be loved. And just allow those opportunities to come in more and more. And notice what happens to your heart. Notice how it may grow bigger. Notice how it may feel comforted. And just keep going. Keep going, enjoying that, and giving some more back. Each time you get something, leave a little something behind of you that's good and wholesome and joyful. And when you're ready, you can return back. I'm going to go ahead and add our broth. That is a vegetable broth made with the vegetable bouillon and 12 cups of water. Now this is a large batch of soup. So I'm making this for a lot of people, but you could scale this back. Make it half the recipe, or a quarter if it's just you yourself. I'm also going to go ahead and stir in my garlic, which is the 3 cloves, all chopped up. I like to chop my vegetables fine so that when you're eating the soup, you know, you're getting a mouthful of a variety of flavors and not just a lot of broth. Okay. I'm also going to add to this my tomatoes. I like to use the petite diced tomatoes. Depends on how you like your soup. If you like it a little thicker, you could use crushed tomatoes. Okay. And then when that comes up to temperature, I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients because they really don't take too long to cook. And I'll see you back here in just a minute. Okay, so now that the temperature has come up with the soup and the vegetables are getting tender, I'm going to go ahead and add the zucchini. Okay, and the mushrooms. We really got a nice full stock pot here. And the olives for a little extra special flavor. And the spinach. I usually like to add some fresh herbs to this, but today I'm actually going to use just spices. And I'm going to also add the brown rice to this at this point. Yep. That's a good soup starting there. I'm going to have a lot of joy while I'm eating this soup. And because I'm cooking it for other people, it's going to make me feel more joyful knowing that they'll be enjoying it as well. So I do hope that they enjoy it. And I'm going to add the brown rice. Now I made, I made 1 cup of brown rice that's just dry, 1 cup dry. And look at how much rice it made. So we don't have to put all of this in the soup. You can use your judgment how much you like. But this is a really great food for breakfast too. Like you could make this and make a big batch and then have it with some fresh apples or pineapple in the morning. And you can, eat it with some vegetables during the day. It's great if you're on a vegetarian diet and you're looking for more protein sources, because not everything has to be meat. The earth did provide us with lots of varieties. And that's something to be joyful about. So I'm going to add just a little more rice. I'm going by feel with my soup. As I'm stirring it, I can feel the textures and how much ratio there is of broth to vegetable. So that's kind of how I'm judging how much I want to put in. And because I do like to have a good amount of broth, I think that broth is really just very nurturing. Just having a bowl of broth when you're sick is, feels so good, and it's easy on the stomach. There's a lot of good bone building in the broth. And then I'm going to take the rest of this and put this in a container. Probably have that for breakfast in the morning and start my day with some joyful brown rice. So let this continue to cook, and I'm going to add my spices to it, because what's life without a little spice? We have some ground cumin and some coriander. These are really good spices for detoxification and for the digestive tract. It helps to can get rid of any bloating that you might feel. They also are good for feeling vibrant inside. And I know it seems a little silly, but the essential oil of coriander can help with confidence. So that brings a little more fire into our lives. And again, joy is part of that fire element. So we are using these fiery things to help control metal and allow us to take in more of what's good for us and what makes us happy. So we're going to do a tablespoon of the cumin, and 2 teaspoons of coriander, or you can, like I say, adjust it to make you feel good. I'm actually going to just do, since 3 teaspoons make a tablespoon, I'm going to just basically do about 1/2 tablespoon of coriander. Oh, it smells so good already. These are some of my favorite spices. And as you know, I'm an aromatherapist, so spices and essential oils all go hand in hand. They all come from the same place. They're all from the plants. The plants have given us some really powerful medicine. And you know that you can use essential oils in cooking as well, but if you decide to do that, you really need just the tiniest amount to equal what we would normally put with the spices, the dry spices, that is. So I just want to give you a little caution on doing that, because this is not really intended for internal use, but it is possible. And these oils all come from the life essence of the plant, that which gives it its ability to protect it from pathogens and disease. And so anytime you're taking in these spices or the oils, you are boosting your own immune system. You're making your body stronger to be able to resist disease as well. And each oil has a different level of antiseptic ability. And you would see there is a list where you can see all of that. But so just so you know, every time that you're using some of these spices, you're getting the oils from the plant in that as well. So you're making your body more resistant to disease every time you're using one of these ingredients. And so there's a little bit more to it than just tasting good, okay? You could also add some salt and some pepper, however you like to flavor your soup. I am going to go ahead and taste this. And always remember not to double dip, especially if you're feeding company. So just go ahead and taste the broth and see if it needs anything. It's actually quite flavorful already. So I am going to forego the salt and pepper, and other people can add as they wish, so that they can have their joyful bowl of inspiration soup. And I hope that your soup turns out fabulous and exactly how you want it. And if there's anything that you got from this video that made you think and made you feel like maybe you'd like to talk, I am always available. My contact information is in the information below, and I do hope that you enjoy this journey into joy, especially at this season of giving love to you. And remember, be nice to yourself.
While playing in the snow or opening your gifts, your joy makes it all worthwhile. Baking cookies, staying up late, restless children can hardly wait. Ugly sweaters, fuzzy socks, anticipation, what's inside that box? With all the things I love about the holidays, this is always true. Of all the things I love about the holidays, my favorite part